Sharp Game here. I'm back. I'm live. And I got a couple of questions. Uh some, long-time subscriber wanted to know about long distance relationships and how do you make it last? And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm not a big fan of long distance relationships. Not at all. Uh I just think most long distance relationships are just a waste of time. You know, I have my own philosophy about long distance relationships. So if you've been following me for a while, you probably know how I feel about it. But before I get into that, um, if you want more advice, stuff that I don't talk about regularly on video, go to my website, chooseyourrelationships.com/tips. So let me see if I can put it. No, I can't do that. Yeah, that's chooseyourrelationships.com/tips. That's where I really get into the nitty gritty and talk about stuff that I can't talk about on YouTube. So let's get into it. And oh, P.S. by the way, follow me on Instagram. If you search Sharp Game on Instagram, you can find me over there. And I'm over there heavy now. I'm taking a lot of pictures lately. So, you know, follow me. And so when it comes to long distance relationship, here's the deal. Now, like if you're gonna have a long distance relationship, you gotta ask yourself, what's the purpose of it? I mean, are you gonna y'all just having fun? Or are you just, do you have plans? I mean, where's this long distance relationship going? You know, what's the goal? So see most people that have long distance relationships, the guy or the girl like 2, 6, 10, 12 hours away, you know, they're just flying back and forth or driving back and forth every 2 to 3 months, sometimes 6 months, depending on the different distance. And if you ask some of these people, hey, uh, do do anybody plan on moving? Are y'all gonna end up living in the same state, same city? If you ask the couples, the people involved in a long distance relationship, most of the time they don't know. They really don't know. They're just winging it. They don't really have a plan. It's kind of like they're just enjoying the ride. But they don't know when the ride is gonna end. They don't know the destination. So they'll visit each other back and forth for months, years, sometimes. And every time they see each other, all they do is just have a good time, have sex, go to the party, go to the club, you know, go to the restaurant, go to the bar, watch football, whatever they do on the weekend or on the vacation. They go to the beach or whatever. They're just having a good time. But the biggest thing that they miss between each other is sex. So I always look at it like, okay, if this is all we're gonna do when we get together, and since we don't have any plans, and since you live 4, 6, 10 hours away, I can get a local girl and get the same thing out of you that I get from you, basically. So that's why I'm not really a fan of long distance relationships. Because if it's not going anywhere, I mean, what are we doing? What's the use? I mean, it's like I'm just wasting my money traveling to see you, and you're wasting your money traveling to see me too. So that's why I said I just never, seen where this long distance relationship thing really makes any sense. And then you got some people will flip the hell out once they find out that one person's sleeping with somebody else on the side. I'm like, what do you expect? I mean, it's like you're 6 hours away. Yeah, you're 15 hours away. What do you expect? You don't see each other that often. So you shouldn't be surprised, But you got people who get so caught up into their emotions and feelings and everything, and not even thinking practically, or sometimes not even logically. So if you're gonna do a long distance relationship, you gotta have a plan. You can't just be winging it. You can't be acting like, hey, let's just have a good time. Let's just see where things go. Let's, leave things by chance. That doesn't work. Not in America. If you leave things by chance in America, your life will be on autopilot. And the destination is going to be a place that you probably don't want to end up. Trust me. And a lot of people that come over here from these other countries, they figured out that a lot of them figured out that this thing over here that they call America, the land of the free, the American dream. A lot of the people that come over here from these other countries have figured out that this thing ain't what they thought it would be. That's why a lot of people, they leave and go back where they came from. And then you got some people, they uh probably got married or probably had kids or whatever. And a lot of them, they kind of feel like they stuck. So they'll stick it out until until the kids get adult age or whatever, then they'll go back. But so yeah, a lot of these people that come over here from these other countries, they think that they're gonna have a free ride. They thought it was gonna be easy. But when they got over here, they figured out that they gotta work their ass off. They want to be like the people in the dominant society. They got that mindset, the entitlement mentality. But that's what happens with a lot of people, man. And a lot of these girls that come over here from these other countries, you know, they're hustling for green cards, and a lot of guys will get caught up in that too, because what happens is a lot of these girls will bait and switch on them. They'll stick around and tolerate everything that the guy does. I mean, whatever he needs, she's there. She'll play her position until she gets married, until she gets the ring, and until she moves. And shortly after she moves and gets the ring, all of a sudden things gonna change. You know, all the stuff that she used to do, 80% of that's cut out. And the guy is looking like, yo, what's up? What's going on or whatever. That happens to, like, man, a lot of guys, man. You know, it happens to a lot of guys. And then, a lot of these girls, a lot of them will wait until after the 2 year mark. Because if you know anything about the visa process, Most of the girls, after, when they first get on American soil, they get a 2-year visa, and then they got to re-up. You know what I'm saying? They got to re-up after 2 years. The first 2 years like a kind of like a probation period, kind of. So and then they re-up. So after they re-up, after the 2 year, when they hit that 2-year mark, and when they go in for an interview, then they get 10 years, a 10-year extension with the green card. So that's after that. A lot of these girls, once they get that 10-year re-up, they divorce the first guy that they got with. This shit happens all the time, man. I used to see this shit happen in the military. That's why I never really got into the long distance relationship thing. Because that's one reason why I never got married in the military. I never was feeling that shit, really. Because in my 20s, I was I wasn't as wise as I am today. I'm gonna say it like that. I didn't realize how some people could be so vicious, and how some women could take advantage of innocent people. So that was my mindset back then. Because I was young. I was like young with a lot of energy. I used to like just do shit without really thinking most of the time, which is pretty common being in your early 20s, I would say, for most guys, just most people in general. But the moral of the story is, if the, there has to be a method to the madness if you're going to have if you're going to make a long distance relationship work. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time, you know. But ultimately, you have to make the decision that's best for you. It's your life, but just don't be stupid, you know. So that's the first question that um my man this subscriber wanted to know. Hopefully I answered that pretty well. And, and something else I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about a lot of stuff you have to be aware of um, in situations, just in relationships in general. And this can pertain to long term relationships as well. See, it's like I kind of talked about it a little bit, where it's like you ever ask you a question. You ever met a woman, and maybe you were the type of guy that you had a bunch of women that you were talking to at one point in time. This happens to a lot of guys that get married, because a lot of women will bait and switch. Just like I said earlier, you might have a lot of women around you in your circle. I mean, you're not in a relationship with none of them, but most guys. This is how most guys get married. They'll have a bunch of women, and time will go on, years will go past, and he don't really have a number one target. You know, I mean, he's not like he's saying she's wifey or she's wifey. Most guys get married because get married to the woman that's stayed around long enough, basically. And this woman that stayed around long enough, she played her position well. She she was always there whenever he needed a helping hand, needed a favor. She tolerated a lot. She probably behaved much better than the rest of the women. She never argued. She was she was on her best behavior. And this is the woman that most guys get married to. And what happens is when she get the ring on her finger, um, everything changes. Everything changes. And I bring this up to say that um, this is why a lot of guys don't. The first girl they get married to is usually not the best because you know a lot of women are very good manipulators out here. They'll play a play that position, play that game for months, years. You know, and the funny thing is when you get married to a woman that's like this that stayed around much longer than the rest of the women, y'all might not even had an argument. She was just there all the time. She supported you and everything. She laughed at all your jokes. You could do no wrong. Now, as soon as you got married to her, it was like, what the hell just happened? It's like Jekyll and Hyde. She don't laugh at your jokes no more. She she has a problem with everything you do. Your word it ain't no good no more. Uh, the sex is cut off, or she'll ration it out or whatever. You know, and all of a sudden you look around like, what the hell have I gotten myself into? You know, now she was your biggest fan in the beginning for all those years once you had all those women around you. And now she's your biggest hater. She's a hater now. And what usually happens in situations like this is it eventually she'll get fed up with you and because she wants to mold you into the guy that she wants you to be because she's really a control freak. But she doesn't think so. She wants you to be the way she wants you to be. And what's going to happen, she's going to get tired of you and she's going to leave you. Well, first she's going to find a guy that's the opposite of you. She's going to be subservient to the other guy on the side, and she's going to be with that guy. She's going to leave you for another guy that's the opposite of you, and she's going to submit to this guy, but meanwhile she wanted to mold you into being what she wanted you to be. You see how crazy that is? If this happens, this is pretty common in first time marriages in America. It really is. It happens. And that's the good old bait and switch. You just got to be careful out here. This is why a lot of guys think marriage is a bad deal. But today, you don't really have to get married to a woman today. You can have two women today without being married to them and get everything you want and achieve everything you want, and both y'all can work together in harmony today because women are giving away everything today without even being married to them. See, like when I was growing up, I'm telling you my age right now. See, when I was growing up I grew up in the 70s. I was born in the 70s. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. But when I was growing up, you could not do that. The only guys that really had it like that are the guys that had money. Now, the average guy today can really have his cake and eat it too. Really. And he don't have to have a lot of money. He just have to have something going on. He just have to be about something. And women, if they think you're moving a shaker, if you can show and prove what you're doing, you can have two women that will support you, ride or die. Y'all have kids together. Y'all support each other, and you can live like a motherfucking king today. I got friends that are doing this. You know, it's like today it's really easy to be with women today. It's much easier than ever. It wasn't like this when I was growing up. Today it's like I meet women every week. I meet new women every week where I live. It wasn't like this in the 80s and early 90s. It wasn't like this when I went to college. So today is wide open. I mean, plus the help of the internet, it makes it easier, I should say, because you can reach out to people across around the world, and you can exchange emails or messages, and you can be talking to them on your smartphone, on your iPhone, on Skype, on Facebook. You couldn't do that 15, 20 years ago. I mean, if you know how to communicate, and if you're a good listener, and if you got a little charm, charisma, I mean, you're moving a shaker, you're about your money, you're about progressing in life, you're about, I mean, leaving a legacy for the next generation. If you want kids or whatever, if that's what you about, the possibilities are endless, man. That's why when I hear some guys talking about how they have such problems with women today, I'm kind of like, why? It's easy today, man. It's like fishing a barrel out here. You know how many guys are just horrible with women out here? Lame. I mean, all you got to do is probably 5% more than the average guy, and you stick out in a room. The average dude is lame out here today. That's why I tell a lot of guys, look, go get my book. It's all here, man. You never have to read another book again if you read this. If you read my book, you're gonna be ahead of you're gonna be ahead of 60% of the guys that you run into. Because 60% of the guys, they're not deep thinkers. They're just winging it. They, the stuff that I wrote about in my book, my dad, I learned this stuff from my father, my grandfather, my mom, my grandmother. They used to talk to me like this. The way I wrote it was like, when I wrote it, I was kind of like in a zone. Some of the stuff I wrote, like when I go back to read it, I kind of have to refresh my memory because I don't remember everything I wrote because I was in a zone when I wrote that shit. And it's like when you're out and about, you know, you have to be that way. You have to feel like you're the baddest motherfucker on the planet. You have to feel that way about yourself. Because if you don't, no one else will. And no one else is going to care like you or as much as you. No doubt about that. So hey, man, that's all I got, man. If you like what you heard, man, share this video. Go get my books. Check out my website, chooseyourrelationships.com. Check out my Patreon as well. It's patreon.com/Sharp Game. And if you got any questions, leave it below. Comments, concerns, whatever, man. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.